Hi, my name is Reese Ficuciello, and I'm in ninth grade. This is my first year of Humanities. My first project was all about finding fast ways for low-income families to have food. I was looking at the numbers of how many people had lost their jobs during the pandemic, and I realized that 20,000 people had lost their jobs, and this was only by the end of June. It takes $220 to feed a family of 4 for a week. I also realized that these numbers are very hard to keep up with if you're out of a job. So I decided I wanted to help in a way that was simple, fast, and efficient. I decided that I wanted to make a cookbook for all the different types of needs. This is the website. As you can see, there are a very wide range of food. We offered dessert, we offered breakfast, we offered lunch, and dinner. We called our website a dish a day. We made sure that everyone had different types of meals that they needed, such as vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, and sugar-free to accommodate for different diets. As you can see, there are different types of reviews on these foods. I did the first two of them, and I realized that they were very good and they were very quick to make. My second project was me looking into global warming and seeing all the statistics that were very scary for me. I've always cared about global warming ever since I was little, but learning about stuff and thinking about the future was hard for me to do because I realized how severe it was. And I thought, how can I make a difference on a low scale like my town? So I thought about how, since I was little, I've always been told that trees are very good for the environment. So I thought about how I had an arrow garden, and for those of you that don't know, an arrow garden is a garden you can put inside. It has a UV light above the garden, and it replicates the sun. And below, you have water and an irrigation system to grow the different types of vegetables and plants. So I thought about how I had an arrow garden, and I thought about how trees are very helpful for the environment, and I decided I have multiple saplings in my backyard. What if I took them inside and planted them in my arrow garden, and then gave them out to people? So the plan that I had boiled down to me planting trees in the arrow garden, planting them outside so they can grow and get bigger, and then when they're finally done growing, donating them to different people, like camps with kids that, I could just give them to them and they could plant them around town. I could plant them in parks. I could plant them in my own backyard. It's noted that this is hard to do because plants are unpredictable and you can't really know when they're going to be fully done growing. For example, there are multiple times where I planted a plant outside thinking that it was ready, but I came back and it was eaten, and I realized that I have to put a covering over it. I learned patience during these two projects because patience comes in hand with understanding that you can't just expect things to be going at the speed you want them to. This was especially obvious for me during my second project because I had to come to terms with the fact that I was planting trees, and trees take a long time to grow. The phrase a watched pot never boils popped into my mind a lot because it was very similar to the situation I was in. I had to let the plants grow on their own, and I had to find something else that's productive to do while I was doing this. For my second project, patience was very important because I had to realize that I couldn't make 10 meals a day. I wanted to try all the different types of meals I had on the website, but I soon realized that that wasn't efficient and I couldn't do that. Commitment. I had to commit very fast to both of these projects, but this was especially true for my second one. I soon realized that I couldn't just decide later what I was going to do with my second project. With the year coming to a close and the fact that trees are living and you don't want to waste them, I really realized that it's important for me to look at my options and choose one that I like. And for my first project, I learned commitment because I had to commit to the different recipes. I had to commit to the website. There were times when I wanted to switch over and make a book, but I realized I had gone too far with my project already and I needed to stay on task. Intentionality. Intentionality was one of the most important things I did with the two of these projects, especially for my first one. I had to be intentional with who I gave my products to. I had to be intentional with what type of options I gave people. It was very difficult for me to make different types of meals, give people a gluten-free option of the same meal, give people a sugar-free option of the same meal. It was difficult to do because I soon realized it's so much work to make five different recipes of one singular recipe. My second project, it was also hard with intentionality because I also realized that I couldn't just plant a tree randomly. I soon realized that trees need different things. Some trees will need a sand base and a rock and a dirt topsoil. Others will need a rock base and a dirt topsoil. It's very hard to tell. And I also realized that you have to do research before doing these things. And this really tied in with intentionality because I'm very impulsive and I like to impulsively do things. So I did learn intentionality. Flexibility. Flexibility was very important with the two of these projects. I realized that the people I was making these meals for, they have different needs than me. They need different things, they want different things. They need quicker meals than me, they need cheaper meals than me. I had to look at the people who needed this and I had to listen to them because I've never had to go through a point in my life where I didn't know if I'd have food or not. So it was very interesting to see how I could take their life and apply it to this website because I've never been through that. My second project, flexibility, was important because sometimes trees just die. There's really no predicting it. And I had to understand that sometimes things just happen and I need to go with the flow and I can't just stay stuck on mistakes that weren't really my fault. Accountability. I learned accountability very well for these two projects. My first project, taking accountability, was realizing that I am very procrastinating. I procrastinate a lot in and out of school. I still procrastinate to this day, so I had to take accountability for my procrastination, and that was hard for me to do because I really just had a hard time focusing. And for my second project, taking accountability, I had to take accountability of my mistakes. I realized that I was not as bad with procrastination because I was in school for that second project, and it soon became obvious to me that the main reason why I was procrastinating so much was because I was in school. I was out of school and quarantining at my house. So it was hard for me to stay on task when I had so many different distractions. But for my second project, it really just was hard for me to understand that I made a mistake and I needed to understand that. This is my website. I have different types of things. I have my community development. I have what I plan to do, how I plan to get this stuff out, and how I already got this stuff out. I have flyers posted around my neighborhood. I've gotten in contact with different camps and parks. And and so as you can see here at the lower right corner, I included a little chat room. If you have any questions for me, you can ask them. And I further plan to continue this project throughout my summer, especially because that is the main time where you can grow things and it just becomes easier. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon.